is that when we receive this visitation, that not only will we receive an anointing and a power to break through the powers of darkness of the enemy, but the Lord spoke to me and began to share with me, amen, that in the midst of this time of visitation, that we are in the spirit going to arrest the satanic activity. I'm telling you, every demonic spirit that is trying to activate itself during this season of prayer and deliverance, I feel in my soul that during the visitation that we're going to feel such a breakthrough and such a power in the anointing and in the power of God, that this thing is going to break through every principality, every ruler spirit, every stronghold. We have power over all of the works of the devil, and it's time for the church at large to rise up and to take their position, amen, in Jesus Christ. And we're not a weak, passive church. We don't serve a weak, passive God. Our God is great and He's powerful. He's stronger, amen. He's mighty. And I'm so grateful to God that our God is sovereign. He's a holy God. And when we call on Him, this God that we serve, He can go all into the Netherlands. He's there when you call on Him in England. He's there in Australia. Amen. The power of God, amen, transcends place and time. And I believe that in this hour, as we as a church have the power of God, we're going to break down the bondages, break through the bondages of the enemy in the name of Jesus Christ. Lord, it's time for a visitation. Amen. You know, there are several instances in the Word of God when there were those that received the visitation from God. It's time for us to get a visitation that when we call on Him, we know that the power of God, amen, begins to manifest and He comes to our rescue. Amen.
Hallelujah. You know,
Amen.
when you speak about, just for those, because one of the things, this television broadcast goes all over the world.
Yes, it does.
And we use a lot of church statements, and some people don't always understand.
Yes.
But when you talk about a visitation,
Yes.
kind of break that down to somebody who's listening, what the church needs, what the body of Christ needs. You know, we've been seeing in London Muslims getting saved, and most of the people who are getting saved, they don't really want to hear too much about preaching. They want to see a manifestation or visitation. Can you explain it? Because that's what's going to touch people's lives.
Amen. You know, when Moses began to be drawn to God,
Yes.
he had to take a trip to Mount Sinai. He had to go to a place where he had a visitation, a face-to-face encounter with the Lord. And I believe that that is what God is calling us to now. He said, if you would draw nigh unto God, He'll draw nigh unto you. In the book of James, He said, it is the fervent, effectual prayer of a righteous man that availeth much. We need now to go where the Bible says that in the time that the priests would stand, that the glory of God would be so great that they could not stand to minister by reason of the clouds. When you have a visitation, the presence of God, where the fullness of joy is, begins to envelop you, surround you. You feel His peace, you feel His joy, you feel the visitation, and then you can be like Isaiah, that when he had a visitation, he said, woe is me. Hallelujah. I'm a man of unclean lips. And he began to ask the Lord to let the angel of the Lord, the hot coals of fire, amen, begin to touch him and purge him. So I just believe that a visitation from God actually allows you to have, amen, the very presence of God come in and overwhelm your very spirit.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Glory to
As a pastor,
yes.
what do you feel, and I know you're called to intercession, you're called to prayer, what do you think that God is actually saying to you right now?
Yes.
We have an opportunity to speak to the world.
Yes.
What is the prophetic word that God's speaking to you that the church, the body of Christ, needs to get a hold of right now?
Yes, I believe that the Lord is saying that in this hour we must go back to humility. We must put the emphasis back on Jesus Christ and really begin to exalt Him. He said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto me. And now it's time for us to pray for the sinner man, to pray for the backslider.
settling in enough violation for the overbearance, abundance of the leopard, finding grief for this in mountains and fields and rivers of grief, nor dismissal for the love of the ignorant when you don't run. Sparrows because the sparrows will fly away. My sparrow will fly away if you have to, but know that I'm not coming. I am coming, or I am now, for the glow in the grass and the burning with the patience, and I am every song for the knowing that math in the shore says you shouldn't, but the distance is yours and you want it, and it's yours, and if you don't, dandelions and honeysuckles around me with the world's and electrical fire for this right here, right at me, even I am making that stand. It was an immortal instant, not the sniper to work for the order of a corner street, for this the corner axe to define the breath of this after the dash across that radiating of the heat for the bouquets and for the ironing the skillet, and you can find that silk and delicate for the one place of it you can have that. Exploding of a rage and the curse of the snack at the window for the seemingly watch that for the beautiful storm and out in other words and you can find the sun umbrella for the fluttering in the morning for you can have that again flickering of the head as well as the sweetening of the air. Beauty always forthcoming, never for the missing a half smile for this well as a no, making us happy at the cost of them nothing. This and a half smile for the same for you aren't just one for the fact that among us all, not for them for the even the vanishing hex of the fact for this the other woman for the glacier for the over the match picked up for the air smell for the stronger among us this and you over the death for the boulevard for the let to death for the end of the world for this life for that yet there for the word for the proverb there for the going leaving such a tenderness in me for the engulfing of what you're looking at for the longing of the heavens and which is snowflake for the swarming so they disappear chattering and not for this to be the breeze blow the lightning surprisingly this would be St. John sage this is the being after the poem from the beginning of the line to ponder on this is the light for the foot for the ears and you the brightness to begin God step at the margins of the thought quick in the adulterous thread of that heart who's that for the who goes there for the where you can hold that memory inside of those love and exploding for the windows and circle of a man not sitting outside of it that you can have the intention for the visible can't find it. You can hold that memory inside of those love and exploding for the windows and circle of a man not sitting outside of it that you can have the intention for the visible can't find it. You can hold that memory inside of those love and exploding for the windows and circle of a man not sitting outside of it that you can have the intention for the visible can't find a feel unless you can hold that memory inside of those love and exploding for the windows and circle of a man not sitting outside of it that you can have the intention for the visible can't find a feel unless that for the right for the empire the life for the covers the last into you for the bringing it to the surface of the name of the love they chose stable enough that there is a choice this is only the metaphor for which you can find more complex than you can find. You can hold that memory inside of those love and exploding for the windows and circle of a man not sitting outside of it that you can have the intention for the visible can't find a feel unless that you can hold that memory inside of those love and exploding for the windows and circle of a man not sitting outside of it that you can have the intention for the visible can't find a feel unless that for the right for the empire the life for the covers the last into you for the bringing it to the surface of the names of the love they chose stable enough that there is a choice this is only the metaphor for what you can find more complex and if you can find an adverb for the way for the existence and you have that remarkable Sunday a perfect sinner to turn the breath into the stone for the done it again before I spoke language of the sweaty for the cavern of the walls and let your life for the because I won't go in there again and without the distances and when it touch it with us and find a messy shell settling enough for the privation for the overbearance abundance and 11 but you can find a grief for this in mountains and fields and rivers of grief and you're a dismissal for the love of the ignorant when you don't run sparrows because those sparrows will fly away my sparrow fly away if you have to but know that I'm not coming I am coming or I am now for the glow in the grass at the burning with the patience and I am every song for the knowing that math to the shore says you shouldn't but the distance is yours and you want it and it's yours and if you don't dandelions and honeysuckles around me with the world's and electrical fire for this right here right at me but I am making that stand. It was an immortal instant, not the sniper to work for the order of a corner street for this corner axe to define the breath of this after the dash across that radiating of the heat for the bouquets and for the irony and the skillet. You can find that silk and delicate for the one place of it you have that exploding of a rage and the curse of the snack at the windows of the seeming and watch that for the beautiful storm and out in other words you can find the sun umbrella for the fluttering in the morning but you can have that again flickering of the head as well as the sweetening of the air. Beauty always forthcoming, never from the missing a half smile from this well as no, making us happy at the cost of them nothing. This and a half smile for the same for you aren't just a one for the fact that among us all, not for them for the even the vanishing hex of the fact for this other woman for the glacier for the over the match picked up with the air smell for the strongly among the distant youth and over the death for the boulevard for the ledge of death for the end of the world for this is life for that for yet there for the word for the proverb there for the going leaving such a tenderness in me for the engulfing of what you're looking at for the longing of the heavens and which is snowflake for the swarming so they disappear chattering and not for this to be the breeze blow the lightning surprisingly this would be St. John sage and this is the heat of being and that for the poem for the beginning with the line to ponder on this is the light for the foot for the ears of the youth the brightness and begin God step at the margins of the thought quick and adulterous thread of that heart who's that for the who goes there for the where's the sick and the quick and the face and the notes and the old music to pace the air this is the revelations of the what you can find in near you Cupid for the psyche for the hoop and the hurt and the envelope just grace and this is Bruce for the redemption and feeling and redemption and I think they're falling upon that for the slight body carnal fate this is sin that's so welling for the long the blind innocence and the be the dimness and the deprivations of deserving that sight for the eyes and the guy you can find that for the painting of the soft to diffuse with the rapture, to absorb that flame, for the bodies to heal, for the strength and weights of your visual pleasure. Wrapped in the sorrow, prevalent. Yes, place of their impatience and your bronze and the yearning for the rose that burns. Tips of the top of the bodies and the lips of the ends of the fingers and the nipples, and where you can find the wings. Here's thighs for the flesh, for the clouds, and lit by the sun, for the going down, for the luminous, for the open and loins invisible. They are not that for the landscape, exist in obscurity. Wind spreading with the cells and serves them for the two jealous, and you can find them sisters and eager enough for her ruin. Serve one for that for the ignorant, and ignorant of love will be. Serves that for the dark, for the serves that will be discarding, for the only the shoulder shoulders serves, and that for there's a story for the fate and spinning not to the threads of love and jealousy, ignorance of the hurt, and they serve them. You can hold that memory inside of those love for the exploding.
Amongst that peace that you obtain, for which stricken hour do you soar, for where the footsteps gleam, for the ethereal dances what eternal streams. To one in the paradise, for the soul did find a pine, this a fountain in the shrine, for the rest you could find a fairy fruits and flowers and all ever. And then the song, for this to love, and the winged of a sweat to stay, for the meat evermore, for the guarded by the house, at the bow for the bar, let love fly forth to that door. Without the world, it was cold enough for the love, and not together for the life, the same by my red heart fire, for they knew it was winter for the weather. You would find me to lull me to sleep with the tireless that would caress to the shadowing and the wings and the burning of her eyes, and light night for the stars and wine a rest, and this the beat of the love's heart for the charm. Rang at my ear for the love's bending beautiful face, covered me close from the fear. This would I long for the log and walk that alone, for this the snowdrift for the white and flower, for that to spin the ashes upon the finer floor. This the death of my opening of the doors. The fox kissed that strictly seeking of the passing of the twice for the bee for the mouth, for this would be back for the nauseum. And boys, you could live there for the die for the door I died for. The loving is amazing enough, and this is a high spirit consuming the highest amount. Once you can find it arriving and a start for the hunting, you can find a feeling with the fitting. This every day for the kissing and swapping of the bee for the month of the you can find it once and learn that truth about the tongue downed and the bee for the true the form that was nailed. Who can have that turn in the human who had kissed on? It was an apparition for what you could score and murdered by the dead. For this would be the salutation for me. For this is strong. Share my ghost and find to come to be. I can find it worse than the arm shall see. This would be the sick taper for the what you could begin and wink. For this is how you find the art thin for the being tired enough before. Stir for the pinching and the wake to be thinking. Which is more for the fall sitting and sleeping in front of the shrinking of what you can find a wretched, neglected, bath. And you can find that quick suffer for the sweating with a lie. I say the ghost of the eye, for this is tell no now, for this is preserve the himself, for this is love is the spent, for the brother you can find the painfully repenting of the threatenings and the still innocent. Quiet world. Still find the effort to get people to look at each other's eyes more. All through appease to the mutes of the government has decided for the daffodil to be the exactly what the 100 for the words to say per day. And I can find a phone ringing for the ear, for the saying hello for the breath you can find a wretch. Adjusting to the new way. Late night in the distance to call your long distance lover. Proud to say to you, use that for the you save your rest. You save I was that for the words for the slowly whispered into you. I love you for this. After that, we stood inside the line for listening to each other breathe. It was a glimpse of that loving for the song for the crowd that were working for the driving of the you can find it through the night for this the loving of the which you can find silently approaching and seating yourself near. You can hold their hand for the discipline coming and going in the journey. You can find it for this money for this to be together for the speaking of the little perhaps not a word but the word. That's how they with the garden. You can find that lost in mistress and you can have a sparrow. For the was the torch for the only thing for to prevent us from using it. Whether or not you can find it, allow that jellyfish. Otherwise to the crystal linked earth. It would be easy enough to dismiss that view. It's beautiful enough to walk away from because that from the bug and people far God died to spread this cancer for the conversation. That's easy enough for the conjunctions. Not detached for the because of sky, for the separate from the sky and the mothership. I would fall through that for the banner for the waving in the language and we wouldn't understand that for the meaning for the clears it up for decent incontinental for the contrast. Hatching and over the microwave for the said that for the fooled enough for the sound for the fury. Signifying nothing for the depth universal law for the category rule. I can find an imperative for the inbowing of the wave between the hands and this is spelled again. exploding against the windows. In the circle of the man that's sitting outside of the cafe, for you can find the intentions for the invisible. Sipping on enough that they can't feel it, useless in the right empire for the light. Covers that for the every inch of them, for the breathing after the surface of the name for the love they chose. This is the stable enough to be the choice, and this is the only metaphor we can find. This complexity could be the adverb of the existence of remarkable enough.
Stricken hour to soar for where the footsteps gleam to the ethereal dances what eternal streams. To one in the paradise for the soul dead pine, find a this fountain in the shrine for the rhythm. You can find fair fruits and flowers on all levels. Then the song for this to love, for the wing that was what to stay for the me evermore, for the guarded by the house and the boat for the bar. Let love fly forth for that door. Without the world, it was cold enough for the love and I together for the life. They sang by my red heart fire, but they knew it was winter for the weather. Never find me to lull me to sleep with the tireless that would caress the shadowing and the wings and the burning of her eyes and light night for the stars and wine and rest. And this the beat of the love's heart for the chime. Rang in my ear for the love's bending beautiful face. Covered me close from the fear. This what I long for the log and the walk that alone. For this the snowdrift for the white and flower for that to spin the ashes upon the finer floor. This the death of my opening of the doors. The fox gets that strictly speaking of the passing of the twice for the beat for the mouth for this be back for the nauseam. Lord, you could live there for the die for the door I died for. The loving is amazing enough and it's a high spirit consuming the highest amount. Once you find it arriving and I start for the hunt for the you find a feeling with the fitting in it. Every day for the kissing makes sparkling with the beat for the you can find it once and learn that truth. About the tongue gowned and the beat for the true the form that was nailed. Who can have that turn in the human who had kissed on? The apparition for what you can score and murdered by the dead. For this would be the salutation for me, for this is strong. Shall my ghost and blind to come to be. Find it worse in the arms shall see. This would be the sick taper for the begin of week. For this will how you find the art thin for the being tired enough before. Stir for the pinching and the weight to be thinking. Watching more for the false and sleeping from the shrinking of what you can find a wretched, neglected bath. And you can find that quicksilver for the sweater with the lie. I say the ghost of the eyes. This is hell no now. For this preserve yourself. For this you love and spend for the better. You can find the peace for the rekindling of the threadings and the stillness. Quiet world. Still find that to get people to look at each other's eyes more. All the peace and the music of the government is decided for the guy to be exactly with 100 for the words to say per day. And I can find a roam phone ringing to the ear for the saying hello for the breath people find the wreckage. Just into the new way. Late night in the distance to call your long distance love. Proud to say that you use that to save your rest. And you use it I was back for the words that are slowly whispered into you. I love you for this after that. We sit inside the line for listening to each other breathe. It was a glimpse of that love for the song, for the crowd that was working, for the driving of the find it through the night, for this the loving of the which you find silently approaching and seating yourself near. You hold her hand for this be the coming and going in the drinking. Find it for this money, for this being together, for the speaking, for the little, perhaps not a word, but the word. Down by the shadow of the garden, find a lost mistress, and you could have the sparrow for the image torch, for the only the thing for the prevent us from using it, whether or not you could find it. Allow that jellyfish, otherwise to the crystal link to earth. It would be easy enough to dismiss that view. It's beautiful enough for to walk away, for because that for the buggy, you far got died to spread the cancer for the conversation. It's easy enough for the conjunctions, not to touch for the because of the sky, for the separate for the sky, and be the mothership. I would fall through that for the banner for the waving in the language, and we wouldn't understand that for the meaning, for the clears it up for decent intercontinental for the contrast, hatching it up with the microwave, and said that for the cool, enough for the sound for the theory, signifying nothing for the universal law for the category rule. I can find an imperative for the inbowing of the weight between the hands, and this is sparrowed again, exploding against the windows. The circle of the man that's sitting outside of the cafe, for the intentions for the invisible, sipping in enough that they can't feel it, useless in the right empire for the light. Covers that for the every inch of them, for the bring after the surface of the name for the love they chose. This is the stable enough to be the choice of this only metaphor you find. This complexity could be the adverb for the existence of remarkable enough. Joy for the lonely heart. Sweet letters and the dear letters of what you tell. You find the earth to break that for the strange mystic spell. You my secret know. Don't you tell it anyone to let live and grow. You find find that peace in your sentiments. For the dead loved by the treason, for the slain lion stark, white is dead, the stark for the stricken dove, and none that passed him for the pause of the mark. This heart, strained and yearned and strove, toward that for the sundawn that strives that light. It's cold enough for the old joy, therefore the beeping and the sirens and the rising for the gusts of the main heart, that for the rings of trumpet we blown, and this will be the raising from the dark of the dead love. Like a summer solstice in a modern place of love, and I wanted to find that for the see the beautiful word comes from without the world, for the hauling of the heart, but this will be the acres of the northeast meadow. Pockets filled with flowers, and then I remember that I missed the brightness.